Hey friends, today I'm going to do a themed comic and figure review. Today I'll be looking into both the comic and the action figure from the film that the story inspired. V for Vendetta was a 10-issue politically driven maxi series illustrated by David Lloyd and written by Alan Moore. It's set in a dystopian United Kingdom as imagined from the 1980s. The story revolves around V, a revolutionary who sets out to destroy the totalitarian strain on his country, greatly impacting the lives of the people that he meets. Most of you might have seen the film, but don't assume that you know all of the story, as the comic travels to places the film failed to reach. Much like the film, the story takes place in Britain in a not too far future that has been impacted by a nuclear war, leaving much of the world in disorder. Most of you might have seen the film, but don't assume you know all of the story, as the comic travels to places the film failed to reach. Much like the film, the story takes place in Britain, in a not too far future that has been impacted by nuclear war, leaving much of the world in disorder. The book itself was originally printed in Warrior Comics in black and white, but converted to color when DC acquired the rights to reprint it. I don't want to give too much away plot-wise, but it's a marvelous read, and for those of you who are only versed in the film, many of these elements are there, sans the explicit violence. Just keep in mind that the comic is not the film, and that many of the elements have indeed been altered, but if you can place yourself into this world, then I thoroughly believe you will enjoy it. Here we have V as portrayed by Hugo Weaving in the 2005 film. The figure itself was a one-off done by NECA back around the time of the film's release. It wasn't part of Cult Classics or any type of movie line. It was just simply V from V for Vendetta. Everything here is spot on. Everything is done correctly. Everything is character accurate from the film. From his very high knee boots to the texture on his chest piece, to his belt and his daggers, his hat, and the signature Guy Fawkes mask. Paint-wise, there isn't much going on here. There are indeed some variations of black within the chest piece and the wrists and the cloak and the boots, but really not a whole lot, and to the naked eye it just seems like one big sea of black. The only paint variation that really stands out on this figure immediately is the face. And as you can see, it is a solid white with a little rouge on the cheeks and a little rouge underneath the mustache. And that's pretty much it in terms of paint. There isn't really much I can say. Head is on a ball joint, although it's kind of tight. Arms are ball hinged, as so. There is a swivel at the wrist on both sides. The torso is on a ball joint, as you can see, get some motion going. The legs are really strange. They look like they're on a ball joint, but I have been unsuccessful in being able to twist this area. So they could go out like that and in like that, and if you twist, they could go forward like that. And that's pretty much it in terms of articulation. There's no articulation in the knee, so you can't really make use of the ball joints up here. And there is some calf articulations. V comes with 6 daggers, 3 on each side, and his removable hat. V is a very nice pickup for anyone who is a fan of the film or of the classic comic. There really isn't a huge difference between the character presented here and the character from the graphic novels. You can just grab this guy and pretend he's from the comics. As a little added bonus, I thought I'd cover really quick the 12-inch version of V that was also put out by NECA. It's the exact same figure as the 7-inch version, only taller, but it does have a cool feature.
Vicariously as both victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a vestige of the fox vowed to vanquish these venal and virulent vermin, vanguarding vice and vouchsafing the violently vicious and voracious violation of virtue. The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive, not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous. Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.